Good morning, everyone. Hope all is well. Hope everything's going all right. Tuesday, right? So I hope you had a great weekend. Today we're looking at walking through hypothesis testing, do a couple of those, see if you guys have any questions. And then from there, um, that'll be it as far as new content. So from we'll be looking to get ready for our final. We have two classes of excuse me, of opportunities for questioning. I know somebody has sent me an email about the final exam. I meant to answer it last night. I'll do it right after this class. So if you're online, look for that response to your email when we close out. All right. Any general questions before we get started? Very good. Everybody good. All right. So let me open up. All right. So first thing, I sent you guys this hypothesis testing steps. So when you look up here, give me my, up here are our initial conditions. So if they ask you about the initial conditions in my math lab, those are the conditions that we're talking about. Is the sample obtained by random sampling? So that's something that's going to be stated in your problem. So remember, you didn't have to gather the samples. Then also this right here is the part that you would calculate. You'll take your sample size, which is n, multiply it times your population percentage or population proportion, and then 1 minus that population proportion. And so it's supposed to be greater than or equal to 10 in order for our condition to hold true. And then our samples independent of each other. Once again, just like in that first condition, that would be something that you'll be able to pull from the actual problem because we're not collecting the samples. Last class, we talked about how keywords will help us to determine whether we're two-tailed, left-tailed, or right-tailed. And significance level, they're going to give us that. And from what I saw in your homework, if you see something different, of course, let me know when you get in your homework. I didn't see anything but the p-value approach. So we'll look at the p-value approach and then go from there. All right. So let's pull up a problem. So from what I saw, your test review, questions 20, 21, 22. Yep, those are your 3 questions that, ask you about hypothesis testing. I think it's only one problem in your homework. I should have put more so you have more practice, but you can always redo it again. But in your test review, and that's coming out of 8.2, if I'm not mistaken. So yep. So let's look at this one. So suppose a toll is taken that shows 316 out of 600 randomly selected users of a certain social media website feel that the site should do more to decrease hateful abusive content on the site. Test the hypothesis that the majority or more than 50% of the site's users feel the site should do more to decrease hateful and abusive content. Use significance level of 0.05. All right. So they give us P right here, so we didn't have to put that in. If I'm not mistaken, I'll come back to it real quick. Let me see something. Okay. All right. That was 22, wasn't it? Yep. So remember, your null hypothesis is always equal. And so it says test the hypothesis that majority In other words, more than 50% of the sites. So 50% should be 0.5. Should be able to do 0.5. And it says more than, so it should be greater than 0.5. All right, so any questions with that before we go any further? Our keyword or key phrase here was more than 50%. So that's why we use the greater than symbol. All right, everybody good, everybody straight? All right, so let me take a picture of this problem so I can. So the next piece is define or determine the test statistic. Come on. So here is the formula for our test statistic. So let's go to the notes. And this is, and it was number 22. And so number 22 in the test review. I guess I'll go ahead and write this up here. All right, so now we need a test statistic. Yeah. So just in case they ask you about the standard error in a problem, it's called just standard error, SE. All right, so P naught is that 0.5. That's our population proportion. P hat was given to us through, oh, where'd it go? It says suppose a poll taken that shows 316 out of 600 randomly selected users of a certain social media, blah, 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 blah. So it's always X over N, and X is the number of people that have a certain characteristic. So in this case, 316 out of that 600. So all right, so that's going to be 0.52 with the 6 repeated. All right, now we can go ahead and plug it into our test statistic formula. I'll probably go back to black. Yeah, I'll go and start 7. Now, if you want to find this piece separate, I guess we could have found it separate and then calculated with it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I just put that under there, SE. So we have 0.5 is our, all I'm doing is just doing this piece separate. That's all. And then I'll put it down here. But P naught is 0.5. So 1 minus 0.5 is still 0.5. Normally, of course, that's not the case. 0.5 times 0.5, you will have something else. So let's say if it's 0.75, then 1 minus 0.75 would be 0.25. So just make sure you hold true to what the formula is asking of you. That's all. So notice when I'm doing my calculations, I'm going out 4, 5, 6 decimal places. You don't want to round to 2 decimal places until you get to your final answer, 1 decimal place till you get to your final answer. You want to make sure that your answer is as accurate as possible. So if you're going through doing different calculations, bringing stuff together, you do want to go out 5 or 6 decimal places so you can have your answer to be as close as possible to the accurate answer. So don't, here, you don't want to make that 0.2. Like I said, when you get your final answer in your calculation, you've done all your calculation, then you would do 2 decimal places. All right, so I'm getting 1.306. All right, so that's our test statistic. All right, that worked for us. Questions on that before I go to the next step in the problem? All right.
Can you show what you had above?
All right. What you talking about that?
No, you have some stuff written above. Yeah.
Oh, you came late then, huh? I'm just messing with you.
You started late.
Yeah, hold on. You said I started late?
Yes.
Oh, so you trying to fire back? Okay, I'm gonna note that.
I was logged in at 9 o'clock.
Let me know when you finish.
Can you tell me what this was about?
Say what now?
Can you tell me what that was about?
Oh, hypothesis testing. We're doing hypothesis testing number 22 in the test review.
Okay.
Now, were you here last class?
No.
Oh, okay. So we had like a whole bunch of stuff that came, like this is like just doing problems based on what we did last class. So we did hypothesis testing. We talked about the background on how you would set this up and everything. So I can do a recap for you, before you close out if you want. But yeah, it was some background stuff that we were just piggybacking off of when it comes to this problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, not a problem. So let's look at, what I was going to show. Okay, so the next thing they asked for is the p-value. So I'll just show you, what's going on in the problem. So we should be able to get that from our chart, z-score chart. So the first thing we'll do, let me erase this. We had 1.31 as our z-score. So 1.31, and where they meet up is right here. 0.9049. Any problems with reading the chart? Everybody good?
I have a problem with the standard normal distribution table.
Okay.
When I was doing my homework in chapter 6, I mean, a while ago, I
Mhm.
found a lot, like a lot of different charts. And sometimes they give me different values.
Mhm.
Like even if I choose 1.3 and 0.01, they give me a different number than
Now,
0.904.
where were you getting these different charts from?
I mean, just Google, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I said that was one of the things I said. Like, if you're going to use the method that this book give you, you have to use the book chart. Now, because there are multiple charts out there, and they don't lean on the thought process of this chart, but they'll still give you the same answer if you use them correctly. But you need to know how to use the chart that they give you. So, all the charts will give you the same values, but all of them aren't set up the same way. So this chart right here, you know, is used a certain way. And then like you have other charts out there when you have to add zero point 0.5 to the value or stuff like that. And so yeah, you can't just use any old Z-score chart the same way. It just depends on the method that they want you to implement. Yeah.
And you said you're gonna send us one to print, right? Last time.
I thought I sent you this one. If not, I'll check. If not, I'll resend it. Yeah,
Okay,
but
thank
this
you.
is in the back of the book. Remember I told you
Mm-hmm.
it's A-2 and A-3. So that's in the back of the book. But I'll resend this one. Or shoot me an email so I can be reminded just in case I forget. You know,
Okay, sure.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, not a problem. I most definitely won't forget on purpose. Somebody said something in the chart.
I have a question too. So there was a new, I don't know, they did something like a makeover with Math Lab, like they updated it.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be where you could just type in what page you wanted to go to in the center box.
Okay.
And I'm sure that function is still around with the new version, but I can't find it. Can you show me? Because
Okay.
when I'm having to go to the chart, I go all the way to the end of chapter 10 and then just keep like flipping pages until I come across it. It's kind of, time consuming now because I can't find that function on the new one.
Okay, cool. I didn't know they changed that too, because of course they didn't tell me they were gonna change anything either. So I just went into my math lab one day, saw that the homework was changed. I was like, what is this? So yeah, we'll figure it out together because I didn't know. So I'll go in there before I leave. Don't let me leave, close out before we try to find it out together.
Okay, and will we be able to access this chart, like log into the e-text while we take the exam, or no, we have to
You
print it off?
should be able to. If not, then I'll send this and you'll have access to this. You can pull it up, save it on your computer and pull it up.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, because this is the same chart from the book.
okay, thank you.
Yep, yep. All right. So that's 9049. Let's go back to our notes. Let's see. All right. So our test statistic was 1.31. The chart value is 0.9049. Notice I didn't say that was my p-value. That's our chart value. So now what's going to dictate whether that is our p-value or not is, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, right here. Talking about greater than. All right. And also, for those who are just seeing this for the first time, this means it's right-tailed. And as a matter of fact, I just went over this with somebody. Let me go ahead and throw this to you guys. So this is just a summary of how we would get our p-values. If it's less tailed or the less than symbol, you're going to use the chart value. If it's right-tailed, you're going to subtract the chart value from 1, which is what our scenario is. And then if it's two-tailed or they're not equal to symbol, we're going to multiply that chart value by 2. All right, so that's how we'll get our p-values. All right, let me see. Somebody said something in the chat. All right, anybody still copying this before I go back to the other page? Oh, hold on. Somebody said something in the chat. Why's my stuff moving slow? There we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take this chart value. Subtract from 1. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. There are questions that other people want to know as well. So in chat, someone asked, or you can look in the chat and see different questions that she's asking. Said that what did it say? What did it say about calculators? Why is my stuff moving so slow? Calculators, yes, you will be able to use calculators during the final. So that's not a problem at all. Anything that you use throughout your homeworks, any websites or anything like that, you can use during the final. I'm not going to take that away from you. So yep, anything. I would even suggest that you would streamline your notes if you decide to use notes, so that you will be able to refer to them quickly. Don't use up time flipping through, a semester worth of notes. You know what I mean? So just throwing that out there. Also, my math lab asks for 3 decimal places. So you would just do 0.095. Not a problem, not a problem. All right, so any questions about p-value before we go to the next step? We're almost finished. All right, so let's go back to our hypothesis testing. We have our p-value. So now, step 4, if the p-value is less than alpha, you reject the null hypothesis. All right, and so alpha is our significance level. We see right here is 0.05. Once again, the problem gave us that. All right. All right, so we have our comparison here. Our p-value is 0.095, and that is greater than 5. So conclusion. All right. So we're not going to reject the null hypothesis. Any questions before we go back to the problem? All right, so far so good. Let's make sure we got all of it straight. So what is the conclusion of the test? Do not reject the null hypothesis. Let's see, there is sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of users should do more to decrease. It's greater than 50%. So I got to make sure what was the null hypothesis. Test hypothesis is equal to 50%. So do not reject the null hypothesis. So here's the tricky part. We got to get the wording together to coincide with our findings. So we know it's do not reject the null hypothesis. There is sufficient evidence. So here we have a choice between is and is not. So it is not. Test hypothesis. To agree that I'm true. I think it's not. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So our null hypothesis was that, what is it? Let's see, abusive content, test hypothesis, the majority, more than the site's users feel that it should decrease. So our null hypothesis was that 50% of the site users feel that the site should do more to decrease hateful and abusive content. So now the alternative hypothesis was that majority of, so more than 50% of the site users should do more. So since we do not reject the null hypothesis, which is 50% of the site users, so there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of the site users who feel the site should do more to decrease the hateful and abusive content of the site is greater than 50%. So we're not rejecting the null hypothesis. So there's not enough evidence to accept the alternative hypothesis, which is greater than 50%. All right, so everything is calculation based until you get to that conclusion where you got to try to make sure the words line up with your calculations. All right, questions before we do another one, walk through another test. And of course, the process isn't this long, it's me going back and forth between the notes and the 3 different windows. But once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take that much time for you. All right, so that's 22. Let's go here. Let's try this.
So we're working on some problems out of the test review. So you're going to post a second test review?
Oh no, the numbers will change, but the process wouldn't.
No,
So
I know, but I thought, so this will be the only test review that will be posted and that needs to be completed for the final exam.
well, this one is for 7 and 8. So I'm going to post a big one for the final exam. This is just for 7 and 8.
Okay.
So what that does is when I have, so now I have 4 tests, and having 4 tests gives me the ability to do things. So so that's why I wanted to do 4 tests. So this is just another test that you do on your own time. But this problem, this hypothesis testing, that's the main thing that I wanted to walk through, because that covers, all of the steps out of 8.1 and 8.2 and 8.3.
So which one would we have to be sure? Would we have to be sure to complete both of them to get an, or complete both and get an 85 on both to receive the 5 extra points? Both test reviews, this one and the one you're going to post?
Oh, wait, now this one has already been posted. So the
Yeah,
next,
I know.
Yeah. So
was-
what? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just heard you say to the one fellow classmate that you're going to post a second one. So.
Oh yeah, now that one pertains to the final exam itself. See what I mean? Like this is just a test that's just focusing on 7 and 8. And then we have a final exam that incorporates all.
Okay. So are we going to have, we have 2 exams coming up. We're going to have a 7 and 8 exam, and we're going to have a final exam.
Yeah, now when you say coming up, now the only one that's proctored is the final exam. And that's going to be on Wednesday, next Wednesday. No, Thursday. This is Tuesday, Thursday. That's next Thursday. So this has already been posted. That's just
7 and 8
just 7 and 8.
exam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was confused. I thought 7 and 8 was going to be part of the cumulative.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know that they were. I just
Right.
was confused.
Well,
Okay.
see, what this does is it gives me room to be able to drop a lowest test grade. You know what I mean? You know, that's why I kind of threw it in there. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to give you guys the best opportunity to get the grade that you want. You know what I mean? And so that's why I had to throw a 4th one in there with 7 and 8. Now I could have done that, but then that leaves just those 3 tests, and then I have to hold on to all 3. You know what I mean? So just give room for people if they want to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And so I will say this, and I know we're close to closing out. If you decide to opt out of 7, 8 tests, I won't hold it against you because things are so close. But that final exam, though, you know, we can't opt out of that. So I will throw that out there as an option. But you do have to have 3 solid test grades. So if you opt out of 7, 8 tests, then I have to hold on to each one of the 3 previous tests. So.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So normally I don't say that type of stuff because it depends on the type of class I have. You know what I mean? But you know, you guys have been all right, so I don't mind going that route with you.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right. Any other questions before we do hypothesis testing again? I'll make sure we're good with these steps. All right. So let's look at 21. Should be the same type of situation. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. So it says some experts believe that 18% of all freshwater fish in a country have such high levels of mercury that are dangerous to eat. Oh, also let me go back to the test review thing. Extra points are added. Let's say if you do both test reviews, then you get points added for both of them. So I just want to throw it out there. So you know, you can do all the test reviews you like, and you know, get 5 points with respect to each one. All right, suppose a fish market has 250 fish tested, 53 of them have dangerous levels of mercury. Test the hypothesis that this sample is not from the population of 18% dangerous fish, assumes that the random sample 0.05, comment in your conclusion. Okay, so we want to test the hypothesis that this sample is not from a population with 18%. So we know A cannot be it because remember your null hypothesis always have equal sign. B can't be it either. Neither can D. So it has to be C or E. So remember, once again, your null hypothesis, the first one, HO, H naught, always has an equal sign. All right. And so we're looking at C or E. And so that's how you do things to eliminate your options. And this one should be C because it says it's not from, it doesn't say greater than, doesn't say less than, it just says it's not 18%. So there you go. Everybody good with that? Okay. Let me take a picture so I can do this test statistic. All right, 22. All right. All right, so that's what we have now. Now we need our test statistic. So P naught is always this value right here. Now we need P hat, which remember is X over N. And I believe that was 53 over, yep, don't remember the other number. Sample size of 250. And out of the 250, 53 had dangerous levels. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and find SE this time first. All right, any problems with that before we go any further? All right. So P hat was 212, I believe. Yep. All right, so I'm getting 1.32 this time. All right, everybody okay before we get our p-value? All right, so we need to go to the chart, get our chart value. And once again, just making sure everybody's okay with reading the chart. So this time we have 1.3. I'll just erase so we can see it. So we got 1.3 here and then 2 up here. You got 0.9066. I think I left off one step when it comes to, yep. I didn't mention this, that was if it's negative. So let's do this. I'll show you guys something. Because in the other class, we kept getting negatives. So we look at negative 1.32. I'll write it in the notes in a second. Negative 1.32. we getting 0.0934. All right, so all right, now I'll put it back. Hold on, what was that value? Point zero. Hold on. All right. All right, so I forgot about that part of it in that other class that I had. We always got negative z-scores, so but when we got this positive one right here, I forgot that it's the negative one that we would multiply by 2. So when you look at this 1.32, I want the negative representation of that, which is just negative 1.32. And then I go to the chart value, go to the chart and get that chart value and multiply it by 2. So I'll look at Z being negative 1.32. Chart value was 0.09, I think it was 34. Yeah. And the reason we do this is because when you look at your two-tailed, it's set up this way. So we had to, make a diagram of your two-tailed test and the p-value. That's how it would look. So that test statistic of 1.32, you would do the positive and the negative. And so the chart gives you this 0.0934, but then there's also 0.0934 on the right side of the positive 1.32. And so, yep. So let's multiply that by 2. All right, I think it was 186. Should be 8. Let me see. Yep, 868. And my math lab asked for 3 decimal places, so 0.187. All right. Any problems with what we did there? Make sure we're good. All right. So going back to our steps, once you have your p-value, you're going to reject the null hypothesis if the p-value is less than alpha. Oh no, get my stuff back. You sure we're still here? Yep. So alpha for us is, I think it was 0.05. Let me check to make sure. Yep, 0.05. All right. So we do not reject null. All right. So this one, that's all they ask of us. So there you go. Do not reject the null hypothesis. The population proportion is not significantly different than 0.18. All right. Questions on what we did there? Everybody good? Everybody straight? So that's your hypothesis testing. Once again, going here, you should have gotten this, these steps. And let me check the email. I thought I sent the Z-score chart with this as well. I may not have though. Maybe think about another class. Lecture. Yep, I didn't put it in there. That was my fault. I meant to. So I'll just try to remember to send that to everybody. If you guys don't see it within the next, 2 hours or so, just, shoot me an email to remind me. I'll make sure you get it. I thought for sure I sent it. It must be my other class that I sent it to, my 245 class. All right. So I sent this though. If you didn't get it, let me know. So, I can send it to you individually. I did send it to the class, but then I'll send this as well to the class, just to make sure everybody have a copy of the Z-score chart. Questions on the process, on the steps? Any questions, concerns? Any questions on anything? Class, how we're gonna move, operate moving forward, assignments, anything. Make sure we're clear. I know, oh yeah, that's right. I know we have this new setup in my math lab we want to look at. So just in case you hadn't caught, the change, this, my math lab was different. I know at least by, last week, it was a whole different setup. If you hit info right here, it lets you see all the problems like before. You help me solve this and view, whoa, didn't mean to do that. Help me solve this and view an example is now down here. So view an example, help me solve this, there go that, and then get more help, there go your other tools. So, yep. You can scroll up and down here. So Any questions on this before we go to trying to find the e-text and all that stuff? All right. All right, so let's look at finding this e-text. All right, let's see, how can we contents, table contents, I need that. Okay, so it used to be up here. Search, nope. Navigation. Let's see if it go on. There we go. So forgot who asked me, but you see how we can move this up and down on the left. And so we scroll all the way down to A2. Oh, missed it. So there it goes. That's A3 and that's A2. Z-score chart. So I don't see another way, but let's see, close it back out. Right here, navigation, and then we can scroll up pages to whatever page we desire. Okay. See if there's any other way.
How did you get to navigation again?
Yep, not a problem. It's this button right here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not a problem. So this is text settings. Okay, that's not the same. At least we magnify it. Okay. All right, any other questions on this? Once again, if you want to go through pages, it used to be that you could type the page number up here, up top, where it says chapter 9, inferring population means, but they don't give us that option anymore. We have to go over here to this button. It's our navigation button. Click that and we can scroll up and down to the page that we want. All right, and once again, let's say if you lose the email they're going to send to you, you go to page A2 and A3 for your Z-score chart. All right, anything else, anybody else? Somebody in the chat. I believe your final exam is 15%. I think that's what's in yours, because some of the other classes have 20%. But I believe your class is 15%. Yeah. Also, just want to say, I think I said it before, just want to say it again. I do not have the option of exempting anybody. Even if other teachers are doing it, I just know what I was told. You know what I mean? So, and I got kids to feed. So I was told by the department head that we're not allowed to exempt anybody. Yeah, no problem. I know that's not what you were asking, but I'm just throwing this out here. I was told by the department head that we're not allowed to exempt, that TCC doesn't officially allow anyone to exempt anybody, because I was definitely, you know, somebody had all A's or whatever, or somebody's comfortable with their grade, just exempt. But I was told that we're not allowed to do that. So shoot, that'll make my life easier. That's just less people I have to, you know, go through and calculate. You know what I mean? So I most definitely will look forward to exempting people, because I can just go ahead and put in a grade that they already have. But that's what I was told. So I just go with what I'm told. Go with what I'm told. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Everybody good?
And you said we can redo the exam if we score less than 75, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm wondering, can we use our phone? Because all my apps that I use, it's on my phone. So
That's
we
fine.
can.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that to you guys. Yep. Whatever you use, whatever methods you use, as long as it's not a whole nother person, you know what I mean? Whatever methods you guys are using to go ahead and get your work done, you most definitely can feel free to continue to use those methods and, you know, and be successful, knock it out, and go on to the next class. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? All right. So if you guys are good, I'm good. Next class, it will just be an open floor for you guys to ask whatever questions you want to ask. I will shoot out the, you know, I shot out the lecture for last week. This is Tuesday. So yeah, so the lecture's already out for last week. Yeah, I'll shoot this one out because you may want to review the process and then that may add to whatever questions. I'll try to get this video out to you guys today. And so bring your questions next class. It doesn't matter what it's on. Remember, everything's open. So stuff from chapter 1, you know, all the way up to, you know, chapter 8, you may have questions on. So feel free to bring them. And then, like I said, if everything goes according to plan, that test review will be up for your final exam to prep you for that as well. All right. Anything else? Everybody good? All right. Thank you. Have a good one, you guys. Take care. Be safe.